YouTube, Mr. YouTube 59 out here, and story time. I told y'all I was going to start doing some story times, and if you guys kind of like my little stories, give me, some comments and some thumbs up and stuff like that, and I'll keep doing my stories, because every story I do, I'm personally involved. I know something about it, It's not something that I don't know anything about. It's either a story of something that I have experienced, or a story about something that someone I really trust has told me, So you can get things back in line here so I don't look like, well, no more stupid than I am, you guys. But anyway, I've already done one. I hope you've seen number one. That was about me and my birth. But story number two. I'm still on miracles. I want to do a few on miracles to start off, and I'll probably throw some more stuff in months. And this was inspired by somebody that told me, and I done said it, that how do you know that God's real? That's why it's called faith. We have faith that God exists. No, we know God exists. We have faith that He's going to touch that man's heart. But anyway, one on my mom real quick. Miracles. There has been so many roads in my mom's life that she should have died. Yeah, I said it right. So many roads that she should have died. And folks, she's fixing to turn 92 years old. She's still here. God will not turn her loose. Started off when she was young. Man attacked her in her home. Should have killed her. Didn't do it. She survived. Okay? She went through a divorce. If you knew the whole details, probably should have killed her. Didn't do it. Yeah, I know. That don't seem to be much of a miracle, does it? Okay? I told you about a tumor that turned out to be me. Like I said, I hope you've seen the first one first, and this one's second in line. But in 1969 or 1970, she ended up with a tumor. Okay? Now, she is the oldest of 13 children. She is the only survivor of 13 children. She's the only one that's still living. Her brothers and sisters all died of heart attacks, brain aneurysms, brain tumors. Well, she had one sister died in a car wreck, but the rest of them died of some kind of severe trauma, or what I'm talking about. She's 92. All of her brothers and sisters were dead by the time they were 68. Okay? By the time they found this tumor, they told her she should not be surviving, because this tumor was as big as a watermelon and it should have sucked all the life out of her. Done surgery. She lived. She survived. 1972, she was in a car wreck, broke her back in 5 places. She should have died. Doctor said, I have no idea why she's here. She is tore up. The day she came home from the hospital, the doctors told her, said, ma'am, we're sending you home. You will be in a back brace for about 2 years probably. You will not ever. There have been too many nerves tore up and your back's in too bad a shape. You will never pick up a broom and sweep the floor again. You will never pick up a mop and mop the floor again. You will never bend over to pick anything up again. You will be doing very well to be able to walk. First thing my mom done, and the maddest I ever seen my daddy. He brought her home from the hospital. She got out of the car, walked straight into the front door. He said, come on, I'll lay you down. She said, no, I'm going to the kitchen. I'll be back in a minute. So he's standing there waiting on her. She walks into the kitchen, and he said it's taking her a little longer than it should be. So he went to see what's going on. She had the broom sweeping the floor. Yeah, she was sweeping the floor. He was steaming, probably as mad as I ever seen my daddy. He jumped all over her, and she said she turned around. Now, my mom was like 4'7". She turned around, and she put her finger up. And when she puts her finger up, you better shut up and listen. She said, let me tell you something. That doctor don't know me, and that doctor don't know my God. I will sweep my floors. I will mop my floors. I will clean my house. I will keep my house, and I will finish raising my child. Now, you can either help me and support me with this, or you can pack your clothes and leave. My daddy turned around, walked out of the room, and he ain't said another word to her. You've seen my mom. Last couple of years, she's been walking with a walker. Other than that, she has done everything that a normal person would do. And I have yet to hear my mom complain about hurting or anything wrong. Now, this was back in 1972 when she had this wreck. Broke her back in 5 places. 5. Miracle. My mom, a few years back, had a little stroke. Lost feeling in her throat. She couldn't swallow. She couldn't feel nothing in her throat. Okay? Put a feeding tube in her stomach. Okay? Everything she had, everything that she ate, nourishment to keep her alive, went through that tube into her stomach. Okay? Alright, she had been on this tube for about 6 to 8 months, and the tube came out. We took her back to the hospital. They said, well, we'll put it back in because she's doing fine, she's doing good. And the question was asked, how long will these tubes normally stay in? And my question was, how often does the tube need to be changed? He said, I'll be honest with you. When we put a feeding tube in a lady or a man at her age, we do not expect them to live more than 30 days. Okay? She had been on the feeding tube, and people, coming out working with her on throat, doing exercises and all kind of stuff. She still don't have all the feeling in there that she needs. But after about 1.5 years, she started complaining with her stomach hurting. Well, that's very unusual for my mom, so we rushed her up to the hospital. They give her a sedative to help the pain. Went and done some x-rays, and the doctor came out and he said, I don't have good news. The tube in her stomach has ruptured through her intestines, and her intestines have spilled out into her stomach cavity. He said, I'll be honest with you, she will never survive surgery. So I said, well, what's the other option? He said, basically, we keep her calm, we keep her out of pain, and her body will eventually poison herself enough to death. I said, no, we're not going there. He said, sir, your mom has only got like a 5% chance of surviving surgery. I said, either way, it's better than laying there in pain. Done the surgery. He said, she'll be in recovery for approximately a week with a breathing tube in her throat, and we'll see where things go from there. The next day, the doctor come out and said, you're not going to believe it. We took the breathing tube out. She's breathing on her own fine. Blood pressure's great. Everything's doing good. I said, okay. So they moved her into a room. Now, she was a little out of it. She didn't know who she was, where she was at for over a month. I think there was 28 staples down her stomach. He said, sir, we opened your mom up. We took everything inside her body out and laid it on the table. We cleaned them up best we could and sanitized everything and put her back together. He said, that young woman should not be living right now. Folks, she'll be 92 in a few months, and this was 2 years ago. And since that day, they decided not to put the tube back in her. No, let me change my mind. They did put the tube back in her. They put a soft tube. Soft tube stayed for 6 months. They done some swallowing tests, things of that nature. They started letting her eat a little bit of soft food. About 60 days after that, they done another test, and they said, we're going to pull this tube out and let her go eating. Then she's got to be careful, certain things she has to do, but we're going to let her go back to eating. Now, she's been in and out of the hospital a couple times with pneumonia, but she's at home. She's living. Miracle. Doctor said she wouldn't make it off the operating table. Give her a 5% chance of surviving the table, not the surgery. Surviving going through the surgery. No chance of recovery. They basically figured when they took her off the life support, off the breathing tube, she would pass. My mom is still kicking. You seen her in my Thanksgiving video. She says, my God is not done with me yet. It's another miracle, people. I'm telling you. You say there's no miracles? Keep watching my videos. I'm going to call you out. God bless. Be good. Play hard. Be safe. Don't play stupid. You know what it causes? Go ahead and say it. you will get hurt. All right, folks, thanks. I know these are a little boring, but these are stories that are personal to me, that I know for a fact because I've seen with my own eyes or I've heard with my own ears. And I'm going to get away from the miracles after a while. But thanks to the little buddy who told me that there was no miracles and there was no God, it was just fate that there would be a God, I'm going to tell these stories. God bless.